In the weeks and months leading up to the last general election in 2019, President Buhari resisted a nationwide agitation to sign off on a number of reforms to the subsisting Electoral Act. The Independent National Electoral Commission at the time was accused of playing along through its docility and apparent unwillingness to speak up in defense of its mandate to ensure free and fair polls. 4 years after, and with Nigeria on the cusp of another general election, it is fundamentally the same INEC in composition. Will it allow lightning strike twice? Now, joining us to clear the air on that and a lot more is Dr. Festus Okoye, INEC National Commissioner and Chairman of the Commission's Information and Voter Education Committee. I want to say thank you and welcome to Newsday. To get this all started.
Thank you so much.
Yes, a lot of Nigerians accuse INEC of not playing their role as an independent body to push for reforms to help the Commission do a better job to serve Nigerians. Now, another election cycle is coming around. At the moment, what is INEC doing to ensure that the loopholes, the lapses, and the pitfalls that are enshrined in the Electoral Amendment Bill right now is being passed into law?
Well, from the moment the National Assembly mooted the idea of reforming the existing electoral legal framework, the Independent National Electoral Commission appeared before both houses of the National Assembly and made very far-reaching recommendations on how to improve the regime of the electoral system. Not only that, the Commission also participated in all the technical sessions that we organized in relation to the new electoral legal framework. Now, the Commission has completed its own part of the job. It is now left for the National Assembly that has the constitutional and legal power to amend the laws of the Federation, and also the President that has the constitutional right and prerogative to assent to bills passed by the National Assembly to do the needful so that the country will have an amended or a new electoral legal framework that will lead us into the 2023 general election.
Now, the INEC chairman says that INEC should be the one driving the electoral amendment process and not the National Assembly. What is INEC going to do? What is INEC doing going forward to ensure that this is the case?
Well, the Commission was very proactive. The Commission was very, very active during the amendment process. But as you know, the Commission is not vested with the power of making laws for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is within the domain and jurisdiction of both houses of the National Assembly to make laws for the Federation of Nigeria. It is also within the domain of the President to utilize the powers given to him by Section 58 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to either assent to bills passed by the National Assembly or to withhold its assent. Now, we understand that on the 31st day of January 2022, the reworked amendment bill was forwarded to the President for assent. Now, as I pointed out, under Section 58 of the Constitution, the President has been given the right and the power and the prerogative to exercise that particular power within a period of 30 days. And as I understand, that 30 days has not elapsed. So, as an electoral management body, we have done our own part. It's now left for the National Assembly and the executive to do their own part so that the country can have a new legal regime to operate on. And I say this advisedly, and I say this with all sense of responsibility. This is because the Commission had already fixed February 18, 2023 as the date for the presidential election in Nigeria. Now, if you calculate that particular day, from today, it gives you 365 days to that particular election. Now, the worrying aspect in this whole impasse is the fact that the new bill that is with the President for assent contains very far-reaching timelines that will definitely and fundamentally affect the electoral process. For instance, under the new Section 28 of the bill, the Commission is mandated and under a constitutional and legal obligation to issue the notice for the election within a period of 360 days. And that is remaining just 5 days from today. So the implication is that if the bill is not signed into law within this particular period, within the next 5 days, the commission, and if it is signed into law thereafter, the commission has to shift the date for the presidential election in order to accommodate the 360 days given in the new bill for issuing of notice of election. So there are some fundamental timelines in the new electoral bill that will fundamentally affect the electoral legal framework, and that is why we are asking for an expeditious resolution of the issues around the new electoral legal framework.
And from the inside, as you are someone working with INEC and you are part of INEC, can you speak to us about the stress that this might be causing you? As normal Nigerians watching it from the outside in, we know our stress levels have gone up, as we, like you said, 5 days left before these timelines get shifted or get thrown into compromising situations. Now, like I said, can you speak on the levels of confusion or stress that you all are feeling, and whether or not there is some kind of contingency for if the president is not able to assent to this bill in 5 days and the National Assembly is not able to pull a rabbit out of its hat, so to speak?
Well, the Independent National Electoral Commission operates on the basis of the existing electoral legal framework. And as of today, the existing electoral legal framework is the Electoral Act 2010 as amended. And that is what we are following. But we are being proactive, and that is why we are here to release the timetable and schedule of activities for the conduct of the 2023 general election, waiting to see whether there will be a movement and action in relation to this this new bill. So based on that, we have also drawn up a new a draft timetable and schedule of activities based on the new electoral legal framework, if it's eventually signed into law. And we have also drawn up a timetable based on the existing electoral legal framework in case there's no assent on this one. But more fundamentally, there are at least 6 provisions in the new electoral bill that have very, very serious timelines that will definitely affect the conduct of the 2023 elections. 1, Section 3, subsection 3 of the new bill mandates the government to release the funds required for the conduct of the 2023 elections at least 12 months before the election, and that these funds should be released to the Independent National Electoral Commission. Secondly, you can see also that the time for the submission of the list and personal particulars of nominated candidates has changed. Now, political parties are obligated to submit the names of their validly nominated candidates to the Independent National Electoral Commission at least 180 days before the date of election. The implication is that this must take place around August this year. The second implication and the second consequence is that the political parties must also conduct their party primaries between June and July this year. And so that is why we are saying, give us a new electoral legal framework. Let us have some level of certainty in the process to enable us to plan and plan well, and also to enable the political parties and other stakeholders also plan and plan well.
All right, Dr. Okoye. The wise one once said that hope for the best but expect the worst. We've spoken about the Electoral Act 2010 amended. Can we say, as it is right now, that if nothing happens, because we know that politicians are lobbying to keep it the same, can we prosecute the 2023 elections and get a fair and credible election with this particular 2010 document amended?
Well, my answer is yes, but we will prefer a situation where some of the gaps we identified in the course of running elections, some of the gaps we identified should be handled. For instance, in the new bill has made it mandatory for the Independent National Electoral Commission to use the smart card reader or any other technological device for the purposes of accreditation. And that has also been given some legal teeth in terms of how to determine overvoting in an electoral process. There are very innovative and creative provisions in the new bill that will enhance the prestige and the credibility and the acceptability of our elections. But if perchance, and we don't envisage that, if perchance the bill is not signed, the Independent National Electoral Commission will work assiduously to make sure that we deliver very free, fair, and credible elections in 2023.
Talking about free, fair, and credible elections, INEC has promised to fix all problems associated with the voter accreditation system BVAS before the 2023 general elections. Can you tell us what's been done about rectifying this issue?
Well, as you are aware, the Independent National Electoral Commission had a meeting with all its resident electoral commissioners on Tuesday. And we discussed extensively on the challenges associated with the BVAS. Today, we also had a commission meeting where we also deliberated on the challenges the BVAS had in some parts of Anambra during the Anambra governorship election and also in the FCT area council elections. This particular commission is determined to go ahead with the BVAS technology, but we are also determined to rectify whatever challenges there are with the BVAS. We are looking at whether it is the BVAS that is the problem or whether it is the operators of the BVAS that should be interrogated. And so we are putting all these things on board, and we are going to carry out very comprehensive audit, and then we will come out with a solution. Our promise to Nigerians is that whatever challenges there are with the BVAS, we are going to rectify them even before we get to the Ekiti governorship elections.
And talking about the Ekiti governorship election, can you tell us how prepared INEC is for this election?
Well, we are preparing, and we are preparing well. We are preparing simultaneously for the Ekiti governorship election and Osun governorship election. As you are aware, the list and particulars of all the nominated candidates for the Ekiti governorship election was published by the Independent National Electoral Commission in our state and local government offices in Ekiti State on Friday. And then just yesterday, the political parties in Osun State started the process for the conduct of their party primaries. So we are recalibrating all our polling units in Ekiti and Osun states to make sure that as we go into that particular election, we do not have polling units that have no voters. So the resident electoral commissioner for both states have been given marching orders to fix anything that is that has not been fixed. And we are confident that we are going to get things right, both in Ekiti and in Osun states. So we are preparing, and we are preparing well.
All right, Dr. Okoye, permit me to actually just jump in and look at one part of the 2010 Electoral Act amended that a lot of people are questioning that INEC seem to always gloss over, which is political funding, so to speak. And we know that in the Electoral Act amended bill that several party members and political donations should be made public, no more anonymous donations. But in time past, why is it that INEC has not really clamped down in terms of tracing or following the money when it comes to donations for elections?
Well, if you look at the law, you will find out that the powers of the Independent National Electoral Commission in relating to donations to political parties are slightly limited. Yes, the law gives us the power to look at the way political parties are funded and financed. It gives us power to look at the audited accounts of political parties. It also gives us power to lay these things before the National Assembly. Now, the challenge is that unless political parties audit their accounts and submit to the Commission, there is very little we can do about it. But our political parties department in charge of monitoring the activities of political parties, have been following up on some of these things. We've been following up on campaign funding. We've been training our officers to follow some of these things. But in terms of proper investigation and in terms of arrest, the Commission does not have the power to investigate and the power to arrest. We still rely on the conventional security agencies to carry out this. But we have issued a warning to political parties that going forward, going into the 2023 elections, that they must put their houses in order in relation to donations they receive from individuals and donations they receive from companies. And also, we've also made it very clear to them that they must keep proper books of accounts to enable us carry out our own responsibilities and lay some of these things before the National Assembly.
All right, then, INEC National Commissioner for Information and Voter Education, Dr. Festus Okoye, thank you so much for joining the program this evening.